Hello there, members of YouTube and the Energetic Forum. How are you today? This is Brother Mikey coming at you with another video on the Matt Jones modified motor. Wow, what a machine! What a machine! Of course, those guys don't even use this stuff anymore, probably, but there's an old thread, several years old, on the Energetic Forum, and it's a good experiment for you young guys. Now, I probably won't be able to do every experiment that they have posted, and a lot of it I don't understand because I haven't been following this type of work for long. You know, many of them have been doing it for 20, 30 years. And I've been doing it a couple years, and I found it a lot of fun. Now here's the second run of the. I want you guys to understand it. If all I do is make videos so that you younger guys can get the ball and carry it, then that's worth it all to me. If you can understand this experiment, you'll have it. You'll have everything you need. Now I do believe that. I do believe the free energy is here. Peter Linderman and John Bedini recognized it, and it's obvious that the Dave Bowling effect and all these different free energy sites have posted this stuff, but a lot of people, I guess, don't understand what it means, and it takes so much time. Okay, so here's the main factor. You need to look at the battery voltage. Get your chart. There's so many percent for each point on your voltmeter. Now that volt reading is for battery, we'll say 2, or A and B they call it. This is battery B, we'll say, and that one is at 12.1 or 1210, and then let me get the other one for you. And then combine those two figures. Okay, now that's the... Oh, my meter shut off. Well, these are doozies, but they do save on batteries that way. Okay, 1214. Alright, so between 1210 and 1214, that is 24.24 would be the run pack voltage over here. This is where all the energy is coming out. And then we're running it through the modified motor and into the charged battery. Now the charged battery reading, I'll show it to you. Yeah, it's these terminals here I'm using. And I'm using this meter because it's right on the points with the... Some of the meters are maybe 1 point off, but it's right on with this digital one that I don't have hooked up right now. But this meter and this meter are the same, so that's probably pretty accurate. And now we'll hook up this charge battery. I just did that for you. And see the charge battery? It is 1186. Now the reason I stopped it because the differential was really small. It was like 0.1 between the charge pack and the differential to charge this battery, so I'm not entirely sure if that's, you know, optimum. You want a little more headroom, but I ran it as far as I could, and I got about that much charge in the battery. Now, what you need to hear that is significant is that when you have a battery that's, we'll say, in the first run it was 25 volts. These together were 25 volts, which meant only 10%, or maybe a little more, went out of those batteries and through the motor, through the modified motor, and then into the charge pack. And when this ran, it ran on an average of, it was calculated about 100, it was at least appeared to be on the meters using 160 watt hours for the run that I made, and this one gave us back 316 watt hours. Now do the math. It's a little over 400 watt hours between this and that, and according to the charge pack, I only gave up 10%, or 168 watt hours. That's what the charge back. Well, let's just say 200. If it was say 12%, or even 250. But this was 400, guys. Between this was, I'm sorry, not 160. I corrected that error. More like 100, even though it read on the meters. Well, I'm still making calculations in my head, and I have this doggone head cold, and I'm not doing everything perfect yet. Okay, so anyway, the theoretical amount of 90% left and 10% gone, okay, on your meters, shows up as 160 watt hours went into this battery through that motor, through that modified motor, not just any motor. And this is like an energizer. It pulses back spikes to the battery and keeps the run battery that it's running off of charged up a little. A lot better than a regular motor, and we can check that out, test that out, and then it goes in here. But let's just say it was 15%, which would be half again of 168 watt hours. So throw on another 80. That would be what? 240 watt hours. And we got 316 watt hours out of it, out of a dead battery that I didn't even take it down to the same voltage, but close. So I got more right there out of it. And then this motor ran. And if I recall, it's only 900 milliamps, but it was running on an average of 12 volts for 15 hours. And I ain't kidding you, that's 100 and some watt hours. I lessened it, but I just don't know what to say. That's not right either. Whether I say it's 160 or 100, it just doesn't make any sense. Because according to the run packs, I got everything that I took out of here. I got additional mechanical here, but what I put in there was more than I took out of there. So that doesn't add up. So maybe I made a mistake, right? And that's what everybody's shaking their head about. Probably for the last 10 years or more. Not on this experiment, but so many others. But anyways, I want you to see the voltages. 1186 for the charge. And you can go figure out how much energy is in the battery. How many watt hours. This battery is so many percent at this number, and I can't think of what that percent charged is right off the bat. But this pack, just like each one of these strings of 4, are capable of 400 440, is it? Let's see. No, 840. This is 210, this is 210, this is 210, and this is 210. So 840. And if this reading means there's 20% or whatever, you just take the percent of that battery pack, because we've already figured the baseline, and then we can come up with a number. And that's what I'm doing. I'm running numbers. I've stopped the process. I haven't shown you every single step. I've been working and running around, and this is taking days and weeks now to do all this. But what I'm saying, what's significant for me, and I hope it is for you, is that when I calculate the number coming out of here, which I know exactly what's in that pack, and I know what I'm feeling a little warmth, and I'm seeing all this power in this shaft, plus I know what I got out of there, because I'm about to run the inverter again and run this down. Okay, that's what I'm going to do. So many of you don't understand, and I'm going to run the numbers, and I don't understand it all either. But I'm going to keep running the numbers, alright, so that we can figure out what's going on. And at the end of this experiment will be when them two sectionals of 4 batteries apiece, which is a 24 volt battery, when that is all gone, when that is down to 10.5 volts, when it's gone, then we can be sure about our numbers. We get X amount of runtime, like 15 hours out of this every time I charge this up, this one row of 4. So there's something burning there, but is there really? Because what's come out of there goes into there, and there's more or about the same. So it looks like we're getting a free run, a free motor run. But anyways, we won't know that for sure, right? I mean, I won't know that for sure, and you won't know that for sure until we run the battery down completely. Okay, so enough said. We got our voltages. The run pack is here, and it's at 24.24, which is resting for a few more hours until I run the light. So now I'm going to run the light. Here's my LED light, and here's my meters, like always, and it's all hooked up, and we're going to start the run, and then I'm going to leave you, and I'll be back and pop in and let you see. Let me get it hooked up. That one goes there, and this one is black, and it goes on this terminal, and then we'll plug it in. We'll plug the light in. Okay. Now the meter's on, but I got the light off because when I'm not using it, I don't want to burn out my light. So let me put my light on for you. See my light? Now, you got 188 there, and here it says 185. So maybe I got the wrong meter. Well, either way, I can try this other meter. I thought I had the meter. I got 2 identical meters, and I don't trust either one of them. These little meters, they're not that accurate. Not as much as I'd like. Okay, here, let me swap it over, and we'll take a look at this one. And that one's even less. So you see, that's a big dilemma there. And that's even running 2 watts. So this is a problem. Meters can be a problem. And I'm sure you've all heard that one before. So let's go back. Well, under load, it's something else. And oh, by the way, these cheap meters, when I run them on the modified motor, it scares these meters to death. They start fluctuating and everything else across the differential. So these meters don't like the AC DC mixture coming out of that baby and whatever else in there. That thing, that computerized deal, will just flash and go crazy. All right, so let's now you see that? Maybe these meters just need to be thrown away, or I don't know what to think about these meters. I don't like this meter at all. I hadn't noticed that. Maybe the battery is going down, right? Could be. Now it read a lot closer than that a minute ago, and now it's under. So something is bad wrong with these meters. Okay, so as I run this experiment over time, in the meters, maybe my battery needs to be replaced. So I will get back to you on that. But obviously, this battery doesn't need to be replaced. And I've got more meters here. Let me try these other meters. I was hoping to have a meter that the battery wasn't dead, and I think that's what it is, and that it responded the same. Okay, now here's another newer meter, and that's showing 10 points lower. So I really don't get these cheap meters at all. And then I have another amp clamp here, like this, that I've had for years, and I'll put that on there. We'll see what that reads. And that's 1180. So I don't know. Maybe it has to do with the calculations that this computer is going to be making under load, because when you get it under load, it is a lot closer. So I think maybe that's our answer. But I'm learning, and I'm including you while I'm doing it. Because like I said, I don't pretend to know everything about this stuff. I just enjoy doing it. Now, I'm going to turn it on. I'm going to plug it in. See it there? See the plug? Going to plug that light in, that LED light in. You're going to see the watts and the light come on. See the light come on? All right. Now it says 180, and this says 180, 179. Okay, 182. That's pretty close, I suppose. That's a lot better when it comes down under load. It's a lot closer now. I just don't like them to be that many points off. I'm being picky, I guess, and I want to buy some more meters. And I've got 3 of these, and to see if all 3 of these are the same too. They're mighty cheap. They're only $8 a piece, so you know there's no guarantee. You buy something from China, you might get a good one, and you might not. And it's well worth the risk at the low price, because here in America that would cost $100 for that meter. And all they're doing is buying a little better grade and marking it up. They've slaved out the Chinese in this country forever. So I don't hold against the Chinese. I want you to know that. They're great people. I've worked with them on the assembly line at General Motors. They're great people. And the Japanese. Okay. So there it is, running away, 11 watts. And we've already gotten 3/17. So now we can go calculate with our voltage there under load. It was 188 or something like that before we loaded it, and we'll go figure out the figures, and when I'll come back and give you a watt hour reading in the time to come.